if you aren't where you want to be in life, here's the truth why you really aren't there, and also here's how you can figure out how to get there. So first, we're going to start out very abstract with areas in your life in which you currently do things in which also you want to improve upon. So these are very abstract things, such as spiritual, such as family, such as friends, such as financial, physical, entertainment, right? Things that are not very specific, but they're more so abstract. And like I said, the list should be between the things that you currently do, and then also add to the list things that you want to improve upon or you want to start doing. Then for the things that you already do, you need to list them, or not list them, rank them 1 through 10. So don't put them in order, just, I guess you could say, just 1 through 10 for everyone. So 2 of them could be a 5, 3 of them could be a 6, 7 of them could be a 10, whatever you feel like. How much time do you currently and energy do you currently put into that thing? And to help you really figure out the truth behind that thing, figure out where you spend the most time and the most money. You may tell yourself, well, I care so much about my family, and I care so much about my finances, and I care so much. To figure out how much you care about this thing, you need to figure out where do you spend the most time and the most money. And me personally, I feel like that's one of the most self-reflecting things, because oftentimes we may convince ourselves that we care about certain things, but once you pay attention to what you spend more money on and more time on, it will really show you, you know, what you really care about. Because people say, oh, I care about my family, and you haven't talked to anyone in your family in 2 to 3 weeks. So I definitely would say figure out, you know, where you are currently with those things. Then the next step is to figure out where you want to be. So you currently have your baseline of where you are right now. Now you want to figure out where you want to be with those things. So now we can make our hypothetical list, right? As far as, it's still the same list, but let's say our hypothetical number. Where do we want to be as far as numbers? So maybe you're like, right now spiritually I am at a 2, but I want to be at a 7, right? And so what are things you are going to have to do to increase certain things, and then what are things you're going to have to do to decrease certain things? So like I said before, it goes into your time and it goes into your money. So maybe you're like, okay, I want to start reading my Bible more, or maybe I want to start meditating, right? Hey, I want to start talking to my family more. Hey, I spend a lot of time when I feel like my friends, and I don't really spend time with my family, so maybe I want to level that out, or maybe I want to spend more time with my friends than I spend with my family. It's really about you figuring out what are things you're going to do, i.e. habits you're going to have to install to increase your number in that thing. But the first number, of course, was to show you where you are now, and the next number is to show you where you want to be. And like I said before, it's your number. So it's your 1 through 10. So it's your version of like, where do you get what I'm saying? Where do you rank this thing? And also I want you to ask yourself, why do you want to rank it at a certain number? I feel like that's a very imperative thing to do as well, because if you want to increase the amount of time that you put into something, increase the amount of money that you put into something, you also have to realize you have but so much time, and you have also but so much money, right? I don't know how much money you have, but I can already tell you, you only have 24 hours in a day. So one thing I often tell individuals to do is figure out your why, so you can rank them in which the things you want to start increasing first, or the things that you want to prioritize first. So figuring out your why, right? Why do you want to get more spiritual? Why do you want to, you know, start spending more time with your family? Why do you want to? And I know some of them may seem like a duh, like duh, I want to get my body together, and duh, I want to make more money, and duh, and duh. But at the same time, I think it's also very imperative that you figure out why you want to do these things, like I said, so you can rank them. And then also sometimes you may realize, hey, something might be important, but it's not as imperative as something else, right? So for example, you're like, okay, well, I want to start working out and going to the gym, and I want to get my body together. But if you notice, every single month you're struggling to pay your rent, you're struggling to pay your bills, you feel like mentally, you know, you're not really there, or you feel like if you had more of a spiritual connection, you get what I'm saying, or more on your spiritual side, you would be more level-headed. Maybe your mental isn't there right now. You're like, you know what, as much as I want my body to look good, as much as I want my body to be together, there's other things I want to work on. Maybe I want to work on my finances. Maybe I want to start talking to people more. You get what I'm saying? My family, and I just feel like I'm very alone right now. I'm very isolated. Then yes, of course, going to the gym is great. I always recommend people go to the gym. It's also good for, you know, mental health and releasing dopamine and different things like that. But at the same time, if those things are more important, if those things are what you're like, I have to do these things and then I can go on to something else, then I would recommend to do something like that, if that makes any sense, because you have only but 24 hours in a day. So it's very important that you don't try to increase everything. I personally would say try to increase 1 to 3 things. Like, I know for some people right now, you're kind of like, but I want to increase this. And the whole point of the video was where I want to be in life and how I want to get to where I want to be in life. But it's important that you understand you've been doing these things. I don't know how old you are, but 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, 17 years. You've been doing things not according to the life you want, not in the direction that your life you want. So you have to understand it's going to take more than honestly even 12 months to unravel these things. So give yourself grace, give yourself time, and really put yourself in a position where you're like, you know what, this is what I'm going to prioritize, and that's what I'm going to prioritize. And then let's say you're at a level 1 when it comes to spiritual. I'll just say that one again. You're like, my goal is to get to a level 7, but you know what? Once I get to a level 5 with it, then that's when I'll start working out more. You get what I'm saying? If that makes any sense. So pick 1 to 3 things that you want to increase. 1 to 3 things that you're going to change your habits around, that you're going to start implementing more. And then once you get to, I would say, the halfway part, or for you, however you feel you're comfortable enough with that thing has become a habit for you. And a habit is something that you do without even thinking, right? A habit is waking up and brushing my teeth. I could brush my teeth with my eye. I could walk to the bathroom, brush my teeth with my eyes closed. Why? Because it's a habit for me. And even if hypothetically, if it's necessary, let's say one day I don't get to brush my teeth, right? I'm still gonna brush my teeth the first chance I get the next day, if that makes any sense, because it's such a habit for me. So if you miss one day at the gym, or you miss one day not reading your Bible, or you miss one day not calling your mom, and the next day you're not gonna do it, then it's not a habit for you. A habit is something, even if you miss 1 or 2 days because you have to, when it comes back to it, you're gonna pick it up again. Another thing I really want you to do is schedule it. I mentioned schedules in so many of my videos because they're imperative, right? You are not that person yet. You're not the kind of person that does that thing, because if you were, you probably wouldn't be in this video and you probably wouldn't have ranked that thing so low. So since you are not the kind of person that does that thing, it's not a habit for you yet, right? It's not normal for you yet. So give yourself grace, but understand you're not gonna remember to do all these things, right? And you don't wanna be, which you often probably do, in the middle of the night, laying in your bed when you know it's time to go to sleep. Oh, I should have did this today. Oh, I should have did that today. Oh, I forgot. You're gonna forget. If nobody gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell you right now, you're gonna forget. You're not gonna remember. You're gonna not want to do it. You're gonna tell yourself, I'll do it later. All that stuff is gonna happen. So to help yourself, to help you, have a schedule. If you do not have a schedule, don't even think any of this stuff is gonna work. Don't even think honestly and truly, don't think any kind of self-improvement is going to work, because you need to schedule these things in, right? You need to schedule in when are you gonna eat. You need to schedule in when are you gonna read. You need to schedule in when you're gonna work out. All these things need to be scheduled, because I always tell myself, if I don't put it in a schedule, then it's not gonna get done. And a lot of these things have not gotten done for you, or you haven't been aware of these things because you didn't have anything to keep you accountable. Somebody asked you last time you've been to the gym. Oh, it's been a while. Last time you talked to your mom. Oh, it's been a while. A while sounds a lot different than 274 days. That's specific. When you schedule things out, you could see, wait, I haven't did this in how long? That sounds a lot different than a while. If somebody tell you, oh, I'm trying to get my body together, I'm trying to work out, but I got to get back in the gym. And you ask them, when the last time you've been in the gym? And they say it's been a while. You be like, all right, well, get back into it. If somebody tell you it's been 397 days, you be like, whether you say it or not, you be in your head like, girl, you really don't care about the gym like that. 397 days, that's a long time. That's how it is for you. So it's very imperative that you schedule these things out, right? Figure out the habits that you're going to have to start. Figure out the things that you're going to have to start doing that are different from the things that you do now, because like I said before, obviously the person you are now has not achieved those things, and that's okay, because you're gonna have to become someone new to achieve those things. Recognize that, but also recognize you're going to have to schedule these things. You are a busy individual. We all are. Like, I don't want you to think that, oh, schedules are only for CEOs and schedules are only, I think sometimes people think that too. Oh, well, I just work a 9 to 5. I don't really need a schedule. I know what time I go to work. I know what time well, if you're okay with being on autopilot for the rest of your life, if you're okay with the conditions and the things that you're doing now, you don't need no schedule. But if you're like, I want to change my life, I want to become someone new, I want to one day be the kind of people I look up to, I want to one day become my dream woman, my dream man, whatever the case may be, I'm telling you now, you are going to need a schedule. What I want you to get from this video is that you've been having your life on autopilot, and that's why you aren't where you currently want to be now, because the only time you wake up is when you realize you aren't where you want to be. So you wake up when the bills are late. You wake up when vacation is coming up and your body isn't where you want it to be. You wake up when somebody passes away and you wish you spent more time with them, right? And so think of the analogy as far as a self-driving car. Let's say you're in a Tesla and you're in New York and you're trying to drive to Virginia. You put in a GPS and then you go to sleep. And let's say you wake up in Ohio. You don't even know you're in Ohio, but you know this ain't Virginia. And you're like, wait, what am I doing here? You're like, you know what? I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna put it in the GPS and I'm gonna go to sleep again. And then this time you wake up in Michigan. And you're getting farther and farther and farther away from Virginia. And you know this is not Virginia, but you're also like, I don't know why I'm not where I wanna be in life. And that's because first and foremost, it's imperative for you to know where you currently are. So you should be knowing where you are, which a lot of people don't, which is why in the beginning I said, have areas in which you list where you currently are, number those, and then also where you want to be, which is the next destination, and have a list of where you want to be on that ranking. But the middle is so important. The middle is the schedules. The middle is figuring out the habits. The middle is figuring out what you have to do during that time period that you're usually going to sleep, right? That time period in which you're usually on autopilot, which happens to a lot of us. We don't realize that year after year, time after time, unless you get better, you're going to get worse. I don't know if you've realized it or not, but I hate to be that person. More people are gonna pass away. Bills are gonna get even larger. Responsibilities are gonna get even bigger. And if you keep going on autopilot, in the beginning of the year, you keep saying to yourself, new year, new me. You don't have no schedule. In the beginning of the year, you keep telling yourself, I'm gonna change my life. I'm gonna become that person I wanna be. But you ain't figure out the habits that you have to implement. I don't know if you haven't noticed it yet, but year after year, you're the same person, if not worse. If you are not improving, I promise you, you are going the opposite direction, which is getting worse. And so this video, I really want to, just get the idea out there for you guys to realize where you are, where you want to be, but then the necessary steps you're going to have to figure out that you're going to have to implement to get to Virginia, essentially. So, or your definition of your Virginia. So thank you guys so much for watching my video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.